Zac, first of all, we really can't start any discussion at the moment without talking about Matthew Hobden. How the club coming to terms with Matthew's death?
No, very slowly, to be honest with you. It's a very sad place. But you get reminders all the time about Matthew, and I think that's going to continue for some time. But yeah, we're coping. Everyone deals with it very differently, as you can imagine. We're trying to support each other and the family, and we'll continue to do that. But yeah, you have no choice but to get on, to be honest. And the outside world, who aren't connected directly with the club or don't really understand the situation, are looking for normality. It doesn't stop people calling and asking for tickets and everything else, and you have to slowly get back to normal. But yeah, I think it's a very, very difficult time for the club, and it will be for some time.
I'd imagine very difficult, not just for yourself but everyone connected, but particularly the players who must have been very close to Matthew.
Yeah, and players, coaches, the people that have been with him, people in the back room that have known him since he was 10 years old. So it touched so many people. When we talk about family, it's exactly what it is. And people that have only just met him and were rooming with him, people that are now overseas and wanting to come back for the Thanksgiving service, who've been away playing cricket. It affects people very differently, and yeah, we've come together. I mean, I've been amazed at how strong people have been, how they've supported each other. But I want to put on record, I think the media have been just amazing. I've been really, really respectful to the family's wishes. They haven't jumped to try and speculate or create stories or anything like that, which would have been easy, frankly. And I think credit to our media for the way that they've supported us through this. So,
you mentioned there the service that's going to take place, the memorial service. What can you tell us about that, Zac?
Well, it's going to take place on the 5th of February in Eastbourne, and there'll be a reception afterwards. There'll be tributes and really a celebration of Matthew's short life, and clearly sad, but also we will smile as well, because there was some, he did some silly stuff, and I think we've got to remember that. So the family I'm meeting with after this interview today, just to run through the finer detail, but it just usual sort of what you would expect. We'll come together at church, and then we'll go off and we'll reflect for a while. And I think the important thing is that after the service is that we stay connected together, and there'll be milestones, the first match that we play and everything else, and it's just making sure that we support the family as we go forward, and actually respond to their needs. Don't assume anything, I guess.
Let's perhaps look ahead to,
sure.
to the cricket season. I think since we last spoke, exciting developments with Ross Taylor signing. That's a great signing for Sussex.
Yeah, a bit of it came out the rearview mirror, that one, didn't it? Yeah, we've been working on it for some time, and never underestimate the importance of having someone in the Big Bash League or working in the international arena. We did it correctly through the agents and what have you, and Ross was really keen to play all formats, and something that really helps would help us. So we did it. So it was great. So it's always the thing is there's an expectation of when you sign an overseas player that's clearly got some pedigree and good capability. We've got to create the environment for him to be successful and for us to benefit from that success. So yeah, exciting times. And I think his influence, to be honest with you, in the dressing room and around some of our younger players and what have you, I think he's going to be very good. But he's a very, very nice chap. He really, and he fits, and that's the most important thing. So the character is really important. We don't want a cricket mercenary. We want someone who comes in and is all Sussex for the time we're with us, and hopefully he's good and get him back. Who knows?
And actually, is it even more of a coup, the fact that Sussex were relegated? Sussex were in the second division this year. Yeah. It's very easy to have come to a side who are in the first division of the Championship.
Yeah, I think there's no question, because you want to attract the best teams, the best clubs will attract the best players. But I think the reality of it is, I think that because we got relegated doesn't mean we're any different, really. We got relegated for reasons that we've discussed ad nauseum, but the truth is that if you look at our squad makeup, we've hardly gone off and said, that's it. You know, we're a second division side, and that's where we're going to stay. We're still very much a first division side that didn't play good enough cricket, had some bad luck, and played sides that were better than us. So we'll come back, and if we get, our plan is to go back up. But there's other sides out there that are going to try and stop us doing that. So let's see what the season brings.
You alluded there, Zac, to the fact you've got a player playing in the big match. It's your skipper, Luke Wright.
Yeah.
How big a draw is that as well, having someone like Luke Wright at the helm of the club?
It's not a bad thing, is it? Let's be honest. I mean, you've got Luke Wright on your in your squad, captain the side, who is he's world class, absolutely world class. And I think that good players attract good players, and so. But he's not the only one. We've got talent in the squad that we should be really proud of. And what's really exciting is that we've got youngsters that are coming through as well. And I think there's going to be some. Oh, where did he come from? So I think it's exciting. But then again, let's just get things into perspective. We're unbeaten. Haven't played yet, so let's get going and see how we go. We started off last year brilliantly, and then obviously injury after injury and a bit of bad luck, and there we are. One minute we're at the top, and next minute we've turned the table upside down.
Since we last met, the fixtures have come out. Much debate about the fixtures, about when would T20 be, when would this be, when would the 50 over be. They're out, they're published. How happy are you with the schedule for next year, Zac?
I don't think anyone's ever happy with the schedule, because you're never going to get exactly what you're looking for. We've got the appointment of you to play on Friday nights. That was one of the key drivers. Now that's not the case. And I think the ECB have got a devil's job, as I said before, to try and balance all the many things. The players have to be considered. The distance they travel, the rest between matches and competitions, the quality of the cricket, the number of injuries and everything else. I think that we're going to make the best of what we've got. But in the years I've been involved in cricket, I've never had a season where we've not had an issue with the fixtures. They're not perfect. We've got Arundel. We're playing Arundel because it's the only weekend we could get, and it's the same time as the Goodwood Festival. Not what we would have planned or hoped for. So something's got to give. I'm not sure what that is yet, to be honest with you. But it'd be nice to get some sense around this and actually nail it down and say, well, this is it. These are the number of games and these are the competitions, and then we can get the customer, the fan, whatever, and the team into a situation where actually the game's moving forward rather than apologising every year. And hopefully the review that's going on at the moment will give us something tangible to work with. But long way off from any sort of conclusion there.
Are there any more developments, Zac, in terms of the promotion and relegation for next season? Has that been absolutely buttoned down?
No,
Do we know?
No. There's discussion, and I think you know as much about it as I do, which is the number of teams going down and up, everything else. So I think that's out there, and I think if you say something enough, it becomes almost accepted. But I don't have a memo on my desk saying that's what it's going to be, and there is still some debate to be had, because the consequences of that needs to be considered. The number of counties and what that means, and you end up with, if you look at the first division, it's predominantly, with the exception of one, it's category A grounds. And there's a concern that you're going to get a sort of a rich man, poor man situation. But I think that needs to come out as part of the evaluation.
Do you think, Zac, that a couple of months before the start of the season, if there is going to be a change, that needs to be announced. They're going to do something for next season.
You would hope so, absolutely. So we'll be following up imminently to figure out where we are, and there'll be some debate. But the truth is, the decision can be made quite early in the season, and the mechanics of it will follow very quickly. It's not going to be very difficult to orchestrate. You just need to let people know what they're doing. It's quite interesting though, because it could shift the priority of what you're going to focus on. You may say, I'm not suggesting we would do that, because the head coach is going to win everything as far as we're concerned. But you may want to change your priorities and say, well, if there's only going to be one promoted, then we really need to get into the first division. Now, financially, it doesn't make a lot of difference to us. But it makes a hell of a lot of difference when it comes to our fans, our members, the players, attracting players. It's the consequence of being there, and I think the quality of cricket has been reported. So it's important for us to try and get back up there as soon as we can, but if it means a bit more time.
Keith Greenfield, why Keith?
Why not? He's the man, I think. I think if there'd be some criticism of us not running a big recruitment campaign and everything else, but I think the first thing you've got to do is look at what you've got and say, well, how many boxes are ticked here? And with Keith, we know that you cut him in half and he's like a piece of Sussex rock. That's all you can see through him. He's come through the system. He was on a YTS scheme, I believe it was, came right the way through, played cricket, is respected, is capable, and also understands the areas of responsibility. So the one thing you won't see with Keith, he won't be in a suit in the nets. That's not what this is about. Everything on the field is Mark Davies. So when you come and do your interviews, you'll be discussing that performance, the team and everything else with Mark Davies. That's exactly as it was, as if when Mark Robinson was here. Off the field, it's Keith Greenfield. So we're going to take all that administration, all that running around that the coaches had to do and allow him to focus on producing players, moving players forward, winning games and are really competing at the highest level. But the other part of it is, as important, if not more important, is really the unification of the game right the way through. We've got this one organisation now. It's coming together to make sure that Sussex cricket is relevant throughout the county, irrespective of where your background, irrespective of your ability. Cricket being something that's really important to Sussex. We're the only county club in Sussex, as far as I'm aware. So let's make the most of it. And we've got 250 recreational clubs that we have varying degrees of connection with. We need to make that the best it possibly can be, and this is the place that we want people to come in and regard as home. So it really, as you can gather, really, really exciting times, and I think that Keith brings all the ingredients, and he will get mine and my team's 100% support to be successful, and I have no doubt that he will be.
You mentioned earlier on in the interview about Ross Taylor, one addition to the squad. It's well known that you've been looking for a batting coach. Where are the club in that process?
Still ongoing. I'll be honest, we've had applicants. We paused the recruitment because we were hoping to start to narrow down. We have a view here. We can either do things quickly and badly, or we can take our time and get it right. And what we've done with the batting coaches, we've had applicants and varying degrees of quality, as you would expect. But we put the recruitment on hold when we came in the new year because of the sad passing of Matthew. We will pick that up. Our view would be after the funeral and everything else, when people are in a slightly better place to start to engage in that. And hopefully we'll be making some decisions very, very soon after that. But yeah, it's still ongoing, I think is all I can say at this moment.
Final question, Zac. The season is just around the corner, really. It's not that far away. Is that the spring will be here? What news have you got for Sussex supporters in terms of season tickets and T20, that sort of thing?
Yeah, well, I think for us is that we're finalising all of our campaigns, the season tickets, and also our membership has been on sale. The uptake is very, very good. There's still a lot of support for us, but this is the time when we're always optimistic. But cricket doesn't really get on people's agenda until the daffodils pop out. Now this year we've had an unseasonably warm
November.
November, exactly. But the good news is there's an optimism, there's a freshness. We've got a new captain. We've got Ross Taylor. We're looking a second overseas player as well. We've got the youngsters who are going to come through, be given an opportunity. We've got Keith Greenfield. We've got Tim Shutt running the foundation. There's a freshness. Some would criticise us as moving the deck chairs around and not doing anything particularly new, but I think there's a freshness and it's amazing. If you've got something good, make the most of it, is what I say, rather than just change it for the sake of it.
When you say second overseas, would that be for T20, Zac?
Yeah, T20, yeah. But we've got the guys have got some thoughts. Just to explain how that process works. So this always works from the coach out. It doesn't. I don't sit in front of my telly watching the Big Bash League and say, well, we can't fancy him. Why don't we go and sign him? It doesn't work that way. They don't need a fan driving the agenda. It's about the composition of the team, what we need, the areas of the game that the captain wants to strengthen and everything else. A look at what we've got, where we need to supplement, and then we would go from there. Then you have your target list, and those that are available, you have negotiation. For us, it'll always come down to what we can afford. We're not a big club, and I think we make the most of what we've got. So hopefully we're narrowing down some ideas now, and we'll be able to announce something soon, I would hope.
Wonderful.